Have you ever stopped to think about how much of your daily life is shaped by numbers? When you check the weather forecast, that's statistics. When you hear about the chances of winning a lottery, that's statistics. When doctors decide how safe a new medicine is, that's statistics. And when you look at surveys about what people believe, what they eat, or how they live, that, too, is statistics. Statistics is the science of understanding information. It helps us see patterns where others see only noise. It helps us make decisions under uncertainty, and it helps us recognize the hidden order in what seems random. At its essence, statistics deals with three main pillars: data, probability, and analysis. Let's begin with data. Data is the raw information collected from observation. The Quran constantly invites us to observe the world around us. In Surah Al-Imran 3:190, it says, "Indeed, in the creation of the heavens and the earth, and the alternation of the night and the day, are signs for people of understanding." This verse is essentially a call to data collection. Look at the heavens. Look at the earth. Look at the cycles of night and day. All these are data points waiting for reflection. But data by itself is not enough. Millions of numbers, facts, and records are meaningless without interpretation. That's where probability enters. Probability is the science of uncertainty. It tells us that while we cannot predict individual outcomes, we can understand the patterns of large groups. For example, you cannot know the result of one coin toss, but you can confidently predict the behavior of thousands of coin tosses. This teaches us something profound. What appears random to us still exists within boundaries of order. The Quran makes this clear in Surah Al-Qamar 54-49. Indeed, all things we created with predestination. Even randomness is not beyond the scope of divine wisdom. Probability reminds us that uncertainty for humans does not mean uncertainty for God. Let's move to analysis. Analysis is about extracting meaning from data and probability. Without analysis, information is just noise. Imagine doctors with millions of health records but no method to interpret them. They would learn nothing. But with statistical analysis, they can discover how diseases spread, what treatments work, and how to save lives. In the same way, astronomers take millions of points of light in the sky and, through analysis, uncover the structure of galaxies and the expansion of the universe. The Quran points to this deeper level of reflection. In Surah Yunus 10:101, it says, "Say, observe what is in the heavens and the earth, but of no avail will be signs or warners to a people who do not believe." This is a reminder that observing is only the first step. True understanding requires analysis and reflection. Without that, data becomes meaningless. Statistics also carries a moral dimension. Data can be manipulated. Numbers can be twisted to mislead. Graphs can be drawn to hide the truth rather than reveal it. The Quran warns us about falsehood in Surah Al-Hajj 22-30. So avoid the false speech. In our age, false speech often takes the form of dishonest statistics, misused numbers that convince people of lies. Ethical statistics demands honesty, clarity, and integrity. But perhaps one of the most humbling lessons from statistics is its reminder of our limits. Even the best analysis carries margins of error. Predictions always include confidence intervals. In other words, human knowledge is never complete. The Quran tells us in Surah Al-Isra 17:85, "And mankind has not been given of knowledge except a little." Statistics forces us to be humble. It teaches us that our conclusions are useful, but never absolute. Only God holds certainty. Let's bring this into the modern world with real examples. Climate scientists use statistics to analyze temperature records from across the globe. From this data, they can model patterns of climate change, predict future risks, and guide humanity toward solutions. Without statistics, these insights would remain invisible. Medical researchers use probability to test vaccines and treatments. They don't just look at one patient, but thousands. analyzing data to determine effectiveness. This is how life-saving cures are discovered. It's a reflection of the divine mercy in giving humans tools to protect life. Economists use analysis to understand poverty, inequality, and growth. They collect data from entire nations and look for patterns. With statistics, governments can design policies to lift people from hardship. Without it, decisions would be blind guesses. Even technology is built on statistical principles. Artificial intelligence, for example, is nothing more than machines learning from massive data sets. It recognizes patterns in language, images, or behavior and makes predictions. Yet even this incredible power reflects the same truth statistics always points to: order within complexity. Now consider the ultimate perspective, the probability of life itself. Scientists tell us that the odds of the universe having the exact conditions for life are unimaginably small. The constants of physics, the force of gravity, the charge of the electron, the speed of light, are all precisely tuned. If any of them were even slightly different, life could not exist. The chance of this happening randomly is so low that many scientists admit it points to something beyond chance. The Quran affirms this in Surah Al-Mulk 67:3-4. He who created 7 heavens in layers. You do not see any inconsistency in the creation of the Most Merciful. So return your vision. Do you see any breaks? Then return your vision twice again. Your vision will return to you humbled while it is fatigued. This is exactly what modern science finds. The more we analyze, the more precise and consistent creation appears. So what does all of this mean? Statistics is not just a mathematical tool. It is a way of seeing reality. It teaches us that behind the noise there is order. Behind uncertainty there is law. Behind data there is meaning. And behind all meaning there is the Creator. The next time you hear about a percentage, a probability, or prediction, don't just think of it as numbers. Think of it as a sign. A reminder that knowledge requires reflection, that truth requires honesty, and that life itself is built upon patterns too precise to be mere coincidence. Statistics is the language of patterns, and patterns are the language of creation.